Welcome back to another episode of the ITSO podcast. Like we mentioned last time, we have once again taken a 2-month break.
Yep.
Consistency really our thing. We're much like Liverpool with our consistency. So what we're going to do is we've just finished watching the Champions League first leg
Dortmund
of
and
the
PSG.
semi-finals. So we'll review that. What did you think of the game? PSG Dortmund
So
in Dortmund.
I thought it was quite an end-to-end game. I thought there was a lot going on, but I just felt like the finishing was a bit poor.
I agree. I felt like, firstly, credit to Dortmund. They did shut down Mbappe, I think. Mbappe was, he had that really good chance hitting the inside of the post, but for the majority of the game, I didn't see Mbappe in the game, especially in the first half. Didn't really watch a lot of the first half.
Yeah, when I watched it, I just felt like sometimes Mbappe can plays his own game. I don't think he gels with the PSG a lot. This is why it's going to be very interesting to see what he does at Real Madrid.
Yes, so let's say Mbappe doesn't win the Champions League.
Yeah.
How do you think that impacts his legacy?
Well, good players have gone to PSG, right? And they worked quite hard to build a good enough team to challenge for the Champions League. We all know how difficult it is to win the Champions League, even if you're not PSG, right? So I don't think
But the greatest players have all done it.
they have, but with the greatest teams.
Not necessarily. I think Ronaldo won the Champions League.
Ronaldo's the only one, but you can also argue that United were very strong that season. Like, it's rare to see a team that's not on top form that wins it. Like, Dortmund comes close. Like, a lot of the teams that are not supposed to win it get to the final. But when have we recently seen those teams actually get the final done and win it, right? It's always the Bayerns, it's always the Real or Madrids of the game, it's the Barcelona teams. So it's in the last, and Liverpool, of course. But even Liverpool
But then I
only
would
won it
say
once.
that if Mbappe goes to Real Madrid to win the Champions League,
Yeah.
it takes away from the significance of that. Like, I'm still saying it's a great achievement, but what it demonstrates to me at least is that, like, look, Ronaldo pulled United. I mean, United was a great team at the time, but pulled them into the Champions League.
He did, yeah. I mean, he was a
And
good
then
player
did it
there.
at Real Madrid consistently. And you would say he's the center of that team, right? Mbappe going to Real Madrid, I'm not sure he should be the center of the team. I think they've got a good, like, quite honestly, why do they need him?
It's interesting because I saw Bellingham the other day playing as a striker. Right? He was alongside Vinicius Junior.
Like a number 10-ish role, like a false 9.
But like it was a 4-4-2 formation. So you had 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and the 2 on top, Bellingham and Vinicius. So he's kind of taken that role. That's probably why he's scoring goals, as many goals as he is. But at the same time, I don't think he started in that position. So when Mbappe comes in, I think Bellingham's going to kind of take a more central attacking
Like a
midfielder
number
role.
8.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. Moving to the other side, not talking just about Mbappe, from Dortmund, what are your takeaways from Dortmund's team? I think, like, credit to them in their defence, although it was a bit sloppy towards the end, letting in so many chances.
They've always been a good team.
Their finishings, it leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
I think the main talking point from that game was Sancho's resurgence. And we've seen it over the past couple of games. He's been playing very well for Dortmund. He sort of, rediscovered his form. And the reason why Man United paid so much for him was that form. Now, a lot of the commentators were talking a lot about the toxicity of the environment. And perhaps it might be that Manchester United has a toxic environment. But whether or not that's the coaching staff and the backroom staff, or is it the players that are causing that environment? So a lot has been said that quite often, like, there's too much player power. And I think PSG and United are like 2 teams that demonstrate too much player power. But credit to Sancho, he has pulled his bootstraps up and, is playing really well for Dortmund. They should have scored at least 3 or 4, like, wide open chances. But then again, PSG should have done the same. So moving to the other side of the draw, and my feeling is whoever makes it to the final is going to have a tough time if this is the form they're going to display.
Yeah.
Because the other 2 teams, Bayern and
We'll finish
Madrid,
off more than one of these chances.
yeah. So did you have a chance to watch the match yesterday?
I did in snippets, but then I watched the highlights again, so I didn't watch it live all the way through. So pretty much just like this game. I would say it was quite a competitive game. I mean, there was penalties on both sides, right? And I would say they were both penalties. Kane doesn't usually miss penalties unless it's against France. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think it was a very competitive game. Bayern obviously having Müller back. He didn't play the second leg in the Arsenal game. So it's this year's Champions League is very competitive. You're not seeing any team kind of run away with it. It's pretty close. Like there were draws in the first leg of many games.
I felt like
this
Bayern
season.
has raised their level in the Champions League, considering their league form has been a little bit, by their high standards, quite poor.
Yeah.
Their Champions League form, I think, I'll give you guys credit as probably one of the premier informed teams when you went to Bayern.
Yeah.
The fact that they were managed to hold you to no goals and scored against you is a big achievement. But I would say that watching the game, I was struck by Real Madrid are very clinical. So in the first half, it was all Bayern, but they have the same problem that Dortmund had, which is they just don't finish.
Yeah.
And it's like Real Madrid, despite like Munich had lots of chances, but they weren't really good chances.
Okay.
They were always like limited to like pot shots from around the box because Real Madrid had like 10 players behind the ball.
Yeah.
And the reason they had that was because they had Vinicius Jr. And eventually what happened was someone played a long ball, it got through,
Counter.
and Vinicius just scored on the first shot, like almost one of the first shots they had on target in the whole game. And they scored and it was like 1-0.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Munich, credit to them, got themselves back into the game through a penalty and another good goal as well. Like it was a screamer as well. I think it was Sane who scored.
He does that a lot. He cuts in.
Yeah.
I saw that.
We can bring it up here. So who scored?
Sane scored. Yeah.
Sane scored. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like they have like Munich going to the Bernabeu is not good for Munich. I think. Like home advantage, I think is very strong. I really want Munich to make it to the final because I want Kane to be like vindicated for moving club. To be honest, despite him leaving my club, I do actually hope that he does well at Munich. At least because he's, I want him to break his curse, man. I just want him to win a cup. Madrid.
Then he comes back to Spurs next season and wins the Premier League.
And you know what? There's a bit of a jinx on Madrid in terms of Bellingham. So I think Bellingham played well in the game, but he's never beaten Munich.
Wow.
In every game. He's drawn twice, lost 7 times.
And you do know what's funny? If you take the game to past extra time and you lose on penalties, apparently it doesn't count you losing the game. Because the game was finished in the first 90 minutes, right? So apparently that's why Rodri from Man City still has an unbeaten run of 67 games.
Whatever.
Anyway, I thought
Nobody cares about City. Although, talking about City, good segue. The title run-in. So we've got... In fact, unfortunately, it's become a 2-horse race.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Valiant effort from Liverpool, but the odds finally caught up and they regressed to the mean. And they can't do a Leverkusen. So we've got Bournemouth versus Arsenal.
Yep.
On the Saturday.
I don't want to jinx it, but it should be a win for us.
It should be, and the form you guys have shown. Like pounding
it's like
Chelsea into the ground. And I know like we were like as a Spurs fan we were being pounded as well 3-0. But we made it look respectable at the end.
You guys
we didn't do a Chelsea. It was a 5-0.
Well, yeah,
we held your goal difference by 1. They helped it by 5.
Yeah, I mean Raya passed the ball to your player, so
which
was
goals are
dreadful.
Anyways, so you think that's going to be a win?
I personally think that Arsenal will win their next 3 games and City will come close to potentially drawing, but then they will pull through. The other thing I'm hoping is they will draw one of their games and we will win on goal difference. They're the two... I don't see City losing. I see the City potentially drawing.
I will say, having gotten through the tough games, your running now looks a lot more appealing. Because City's next games are Wolves and Spurs.
Well, Wolves and Bournemouth are literally one on top of each other on the league, right? So
but Wolves is always a tough game.
Yeah.
And Wolves were the first team to beat City this season.
Yeah, they were.
Weren't they?
They were. I think they were.
Yeah, so they were the first team to beat City, and Bournemouth is a rough game.
And Bournemouth this time last season was a tough game.
And Spurs is one of City's bogey teams.
Exactly. So
So
then the
there's a
third team
chance.
is who's the third team? West Ham. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
They've got
West Ham.
Fulham.
So West Ham can sometimes be a tough one as well.
So they've got Wolves, Fulham, Spurs,
got 4
West
games
Ham,
in
and
hand.
United.
You know what's even more incredible? I don't know if you knew this, but if Arsenal win all their games, because of how the fixtures are happening and the fact that this has been added a little late, this game has been added a little later, Arsenal will play 37 games before City plays 37, right? So if Arsenal win up to the next 2 games, they will literally take the Premier League fight down to the last game. And it will be 37 games played and then ahead of City, because obviously City will have 36, and then they'll play their 37 game one day after, and then the 38th game is on the same day. At same day, same time.
That
So
is
everyone's
quite
going to be watching
interesting.
that. Everyone's watching that.
So, I mean, I kind of wanted this section to go a bit longer, but I don't really have much more to say. I feel like City need to do what City do. You guys just need to be perfect.
This actually highlights exactly what the Gunners have to do. They have to be ready to pounce if Man City slips up. So, and the thing is, Arsenal can't even think of slipping up. Because if we look at these teams, right, yes, United, even if they are in their shittest form, right, they somehow always score first against us. Obviously, recently, and they score bangers, usually. Against City, they score bangers. They come out like random and they just score bangers.
I will say, as
So, I
a
don't know, it's a
former
tough
United fan,
It's a tough one.
and watching them this season, it has been painful. But despite how painful it is, for some reason, Ten Hag managed to get his team to play in big games.
Yeah, exactly.
In big games.
In big games,
one of the Chelsea games, they turned up and played like they were prime.
Yep.
Against Liverpool in like the FA Cup.
Yep.
And Liverpool in the league.
Premier League, yep.
Man United,
So it is a tough game.
I would say it's a tough game. I give you guys credit if you guys win.
It's a tough game.
So
and it's at United as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's have a look at it.
Let's have a look.
I don't think we can't click it.
We might have to.
Useless. Yeah. Anyways, regardless, I think United might be able to encroach on Europa League positions as well, I think.
What, knock Tottenham out?
No,
well, actually,
I think 5 and 6 both because...
they can't get 4th anymore, can they? Only
no.
Spurs.
Spurs can get 4th, but they would have to beat
They've got some hard
City.
games. Yeah, they've got some hard
And, I mean, they, look Liverpool, just give up, man. Just let us win. You're out of the title race. You've secured 3rd. Just start. What you doing?
And the thing is, it's not like Liverpool have secured 3rd. They're only 1 point away of securing it, right? So it's yeah, exactly. Just
chill.
Let
Just chill.
Spurs beat you guys.
This is kind of scary.
It is scary. And do you know what? I'm looking at that loss, right? We lost 2-0 to Aston Villa on the 84th and the 87th minute, right? The second goal was a fumble, right? But I personally think that Aston Villa deserved to win. I'm just going to put that out there. They deserve to win. We shouldn't have lost. But Villa have proven this year that they are a strong team. And they're top 4 for an obvious reason.
For a good reason, yeah.
So
we were talking about United. Their run of form has been awful. So we'll go into the last couple of sections of this videos because we kind of just want to get rolling. It's a little bit late. We're both a bit exhausted from gym.
Yep.
And we're just going to do start, bench, sell for all the big 6. I don't know enough about Villa to do a start, bench, sell for them, nor do I care enough about Villa, quite honestly. So we'll start off with United because they're the most controversial.
Yep.
So let's use a squad builder here, and we'll do start, bench, sell. We'll introduce the section, and we'll make these into some short form videos as well. So we'll start off with United as the most controversial squad. So start, bench, sell. We'll go from back to the front. So goalkeeper, Onana. Start, bench, sell. What's your opinion on Onana?
Okay, first of all, let me just kind of get to grips with this game that we're going to play, right?
So each player you just pick start, bench, or sell.
Okay, start, bench, or sell. Okay. I would say he hasn't been that bad.
I would say he's picked up in the second half of the season. He started off really iffy. His Champions League campaign was shocking.
But it doesn't help because of the defensive line that he has in front of him.
It is, and there's a stat that he's like faced the second most number of shots in the whole of Premier League.
Yeah, so
statistically,
most
his
keepers
front line's
struggle.
not working.
I would say
Or back line's not
I would
working.
say either bench or sell. That's what I would say.
What, bench or sell?
Yeah.
Bench or sell Onana?
Yeah.
Who would they get in? I would say start him. You need to have look, you've invested 50 million. His stock's gone down, but he's not been that bad.
Okay, fine.
And I think you have other problems.
Fine.
If you start selling him, then you're like.
And he was brought for a reason, and he came on good form. So okay, we'll keep him.
We'll keep him.
We'll keep him.
Glad I convinced you of that. Okay, Diogo Dalot. I'm gonna say he's another keep.
He seems to be someone that had played well for United.
I would say
think
he's
he's okay.
currently the best player they have.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the most consistent. Let's start with one of the first controversial ones that I'm going to raise to you. Varane.
He's a bit old, isn't he? But he's got so much history and so much wins. I mean,
But I feel like if United want to refresh their squad.
has he been playing in every United game?
No.
Okay.
Their
'Cause
whole
I haven't
back
seen
line.
him.
Ten Hag has not had his back line consistent for like the whole season.
Is that because of injuries or because
Yeah.
okay, injuries, okay.
But also, Varane's just not been he's not been Champions League winner, Varane. And it might be the system's not working, but I feel like if you're trying to refresh a squad, Varane has to go.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I don't think you're getting enough value. So he's our first sell. Okay.
Interesting.
Next in the back line, Maguire. This is the next controversial. Do Man United sell Maguire, bench Maguire, or start Maguire?
He scored a couple goals in his recent games.
He
right?
really has, and he's turned it around.
He's turned it around and he started playing better, right? I feel like with a strong defensive line and a good midfield plus striking force, he could easily stay in United.
But so my problem with Maguire is looks like he's going through a purple patch, right? But I don't think he can play in a 4-back. He's just too slow.
Yeah.
In the current modern game, he's too slow. He needs either a 3-back or a 5-back.
Yeah.
As a 4-back,
But his slow pace was working back in the days.
but the game's moved beyond him.
Yeah.
Ten Hag's style doesn't fit Maguire's play. That's why there was all this friction. You know what? Personally, I think. I don't know if you'd agree. I don't want to keep doing all of this because I've obviously thought about this before.
Sure.
I think Maguire should be benched.
Okay. I think so.
He's a good rotation player, but
Good substitute.
he's a good substitute. Or would you think sell him maybe?
Who would we replace?
I mean, as in you would have to go into the market and whatever you recruit from Varane and Maguire, you have to invest in at least 2 other centre backs.
Okay. Yes, just bench him.
You think bench?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd say
fair
bench
enough.
him.
Maguire on the bench. Okay. Their next centre back is Martinez. I think he plays.
I would
he
say
starts.
keep him,
if he's
yeah.
healthy, start him.
Yeah, and how has he been out?
Yeah, he's been out through a long injury, I think.
Yeah. He's a World Cup winner anyway.
Yeah. And he's probably their best player. Now left back, Luke Shaw.
Has he been fully fit?
No.
So
That's why United's been so awful. Lots of people are saying Rashford's form is because Luke Shaw has been injured all season.
And not passing
And
the
so he doesn't have this supply from the left side.
Yeah, I would say keep Luke Shaw.
Keep Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
Start or bench him.
I'll start him.
You'd start him.
In form, Luke Shaw is a good player. Man, he scored in the finals of the World Cup.
I agree. But I do
banger.
think that you do need a backup left back this season.
Okay, yeah,
Fine.
definitely this season.
Looking at the rest of their defence, players that you see quite often, Wan-Bissaka is the next one. Do we think Wan-Bissaka, I think Dalot's taken his spot as the preferred right back.
When's the last time he's played? Wan-Bissaka?
Relatively recently. I think they do play him as a left back.
As a left back, okay.
But I think Wan-Bissaka, do you think he should switch his role to right centre back? As a rotation player, like a Joe Gomez kind of role, like right centre back, maybe left back when Luke Shaw's injured, just be this rotational player? Or do you think he would do better moving to a different squad and being a first team player?
I remember back in the days he was like a hot topic, and he was coming up the ranks, and he was just rated super highly on foot. Actually, you had him as a player. I remember. I would say I would probably say bench him.
Bench him.
Yeah.
See, I controversially feel like Wan-Bissaka should be converted. So this is we're gonna put him on the bench here, but I think he should be converted. So Wan-Bissaka's greatest feature is his defensive qualities as a right back, but his forward play is not as good as Dalot. That's why Ten Hag prefers Dalot. But those defensive qualities, I think, mean that he could be a quite good, like, to sort of learn to be a centre back, like a right-sided, fast, pacey centre back, because he has a lot of pace for a centre back.
Yeah, he does.
But not enough pace for a right back, like as a wing back.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's move
let's
on.
put him.
United should be a breeze.
And then
Let's go.
Lindelof is their final player. I think sell.
I think
get
so,
rid of
yeah,
him. Get rid of him. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Get rid of him.
He's probably quite old as well.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to their midfield. So right now we've got a gap in the centre back position that they need, either to be filled by one of these two, but not all of this. Right. Amrabat. He's on loan. He's been playing shit. A lot of the fan base want to get rid of him.
How and why did they buy him?
They didn't. They got him on loan, but they paid 9 million for the loan
For how many years?
this year.
Just 1 year.
Yeah, because FFP screwed Man United, so they couldn't buy him, and now they might be thankful they didn't buy him. Would you say reject his like permanent move and send him back?
I've never really seen him play that much, but
That's exactly the problem.
yeah.
He's not been good. He's
I would
off
say-
pace.
he clearly came to United probably because of Morocco's great run.
Yeah. So we're selling
the World
Amrabat.
Cup.
Mason Mount. What do we think about Mason Mount?
A guy who was in the starting 11 of England and very much looked up on. And he probably shouldn't have moved to United. He probably should have... I thought he was okay at Chelsea, if I'm honest.
I thought so too, but
Why did he
but
leave?
we're gonna come on to Chelsea, and I think leaving is not necessarily a bad issue because actually Chelsea looks pretty crap as well.
so, yeah.
So I mean, it's like
So
would you rather get a shot or stabbed? But like,
Well, maybe with him, he would have been.
and
better.
he's been injured all season. To be fair to him, I think start him if he's healthy.
Okay.
Would you start him right-sided centre mid, centre? Or
Right side. I would say
right side.
I think
But that's Bruno's position.
Oh, okay. Left.
Sure. Mount, left, centre back. Right. McTominay. This is the other one. He's getting a lot. He's
a
got
good player.
a lot of goal contributions this
Yeah.
season.
I would say
Despite,
play him down the middle.
Would you say he's play him down the middle, or would you say play him sub? Like he looks like a good
Who else?
impact player.
Who else? So you could put Eriksen in the middle.
I would say Eriksen. I mean, let's discuss both of them. I think we should sell Eriksen. Or
He's been injured,
in this
right?
format. He's injured. He's a little bit old. Either you bench him and have him have the senior presence in the squad to coach other players, or you try to get some value off him. Maybe bench for Eriksen.
You need some quality on the bench, even if it's for like 10 minutes.
So Eriksen on the bench, and then who is the other one? McTominay. I think McTominay on the bench as well.
Okay, if we can get someone in the middle, maybe we'll have to buy someone.
I mean, we know that Fernandes, despite what you think of him, Bruno Fernandes stays.
I think apart from him being a nagging old lady, he's still a great player.
See, I would play him right because
I
you
like
know
him.
who I want in the centre?
Not anyone that's playing at United at the moment.
No, they're playing. It's bronze.
Mm.
I want Kobe Mainu to start.
I tend to forget about that guy.
I think Kobe Mainu starts next
I
season.
would say Kobe Mainu has to start. Yeah, you might as well use that card.
Yeah, use the high rated card. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
he's,
looks like a lethal midfield.
And the thing
if
is,
that's fit.
He's a sub in the England team,
Yeah,
which it tells you everything.
yeah. I mean,
So-
but England's not going to get very far, are they?
One of my
Right.
favourites.
Yeah, but whenever we have favourites. So Bruno, Casemiro's the last one. Do we keep Casemiro or do we sell Casemiro? He's been off the pace,
I think we keep him as a sub because he is still.
but he's
like,
expensive.
How much are we?
We're talking
Right.
300k wages. It's the wage bill that he's costing.
Yeah.
I think sell him if people want to buy him.
I think there needs to be, unless we can bring in some experience, there needs to be some experience in this team because I'm looking at this team, and apart from Martinez, there isn't anyone
We've
else.
got Shaw, Fernandes.
Not real, like
Eriksen on the
maybe
bench.
Fernandez and Martinez at most, but everyone else are not real winners.
So should we come?
Bruno has a European winner medal. Martinez has the World Cup winner medal.
So
Everyone else,
you want to
lack of
keep
experience.
Casemiro on the bench?
I think he's got a lot of experience. He's
But
Brazilian.
he's too expensive. That's the thing.
Won the World Cup.
If you imagine you're rebuilding a squad though. I think you would get rid of Casemiro because he's not going to be there for 2-3 more years. He's too old.
He does look like he's changed his hairstyle. He looks like old granddad. But yeah, I mean,
Let's get rid of
his
Casemiro.
form when he joined United was exceptional.
But he's not getting there yet.
No.
Right, we're selling Casemiro. That's
All right, so we got money.
yeah. So we've got money. Okay. Now we're talking the strikers. Garnacho. I think start Garnacho.
I would say on the left. Yeah, he's just he scored offside goals that should have been goals a lot. He does do that.
Right.
But,
Garnacho,
I don't know what
Højlund.
to
I
say,
think you
honestly.
have to. He's first season.
Yeah, he's picked it up. He was looking like he just can't score for a
And
long
then-
period of time, and then he just started to pick it up a little bit. So.
And then this is the thing, right? What do you do on the right side? So we've got Anthony. He's been awful.
I feel sorry for him.
I feel sorry for him, but doesn't sell him. Yeah, agreed. Right. Anthony is going. Where is he? Bye-bye, Anthony. Okay, Sancho, I'm presuming, is going to be sold to Dortmund.
Before we move on to anything else, let me just say something about Anthony, right?
Yeah.
He kind of makes my blood boil sometimes because, like, for example, the Coventry game, right? Did you see what he did when they won on penalties?
He did that. He's got.
I think he did this, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
But
that's
he-
the
he
name
wa-
of it. Like
He was the only guy that did it. He turned to a team called Coventry, right? Coventry, a great team, right?
but lower league.
But so low that this guy, he just doesn't understand how low they are. And it's just so crazy. And even when he did score that winning penalty, or not Højlund did, I think. But even when they won, he was just playing like he's won like some major cup or something. It's crazy. He hasn't won yet.
It's a bit cringe.
Exactly. So sell the bugger. And I just feel like he's too immature for Man United.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think like, look, I can understand if they keep him because of the investment and the fact
he's
that he's
young.
lost so much value in the market.
Yeah.
But if they sell him, I can understand it as well. Moving on to the second last player. So I think you keep Diallo on the bench. He played well. That final goal against
Yeah.
Liverpool was just
Quality.
like worth keeping him just for that.
Yeah.
And then the final player.
Well, we
have
still got two players.
who
We got Rashford
and Martial.
and Sancho.
Well, Sancho is going to Dortmund.
Well, the thing is, it's like, is that a done deal?
I think so.
Because if Ten Hag leaves, a new manager comes in,
Yeah.
Sancho gets on with that manager. He brings the form that he's had or that they paid for. He would play very well with this top three, in my opinion. And United changed their style.
But I think United's environment will take too long for Sancho to recover. And also, I don't think he'd risk it because the media doesn't like him in the UK.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's my thoughts.
Okay.
So I think Sancho. I'm gonna just take because nobody cares about Lindelof or Amrabat because we talked about them. So let's put Sancho on the sold. What about Martial? I think you sell him.
I would
Just get
sell
rid
him
of
as
him.
well, yeah.
Get rid of him. Martial. Let's just get rid of him. And then the final one that I think we might have a little bit of debate on
It's Rashford.
is Rashford. What do we do with Rashford? So we'll put
You
Rashford
see,
here.
Last season, he was in great form,
Yeah.
right? And at times this season, he's shown some great form as well against City. Crazy goal, right? He comes out the woodworks, he plays well, but he's not a Messi, he's not Ronaldo. He needs a team behind him. So I think the team's been lacking to that point where he just can't go from 1 to 2. And I still think he's been at United for all his life pretty much. But the question is, when does he move on? Because like last season, many teams wanted to buy him.
So this is
Many
where
teams.
I'm at with Rashford.
Now, who?
This is where I'm at with Rashford.
Yeah.
Last season, he had a fit Luke Shaw, providing service. He was in a purple patch because I think he wasn't particularly good at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He picked it up after the World Cup. He played really well for a little bit, but actually towards the end of the season, again, he sort of fizzled out again. So I would say, is Rashford a great player or does he have just purple patches? That's one. Number two, his value, if he has another bad year, tanks. He's had one bad year, people might take a chance on him.
Yeah.
It might be the environment. Number 3, I don't like his attitude. I don't like how he's carried himself this year. Okay. As a professional footballer on £350,000 a week, £350,000 a week is £50,000 a day. Yeah. You're being paid £50,000 a day and you don't even turn up to work on time.
That's crazy. Is that true?
Remember when he went to Bristol and was out drinking and missed training the next day?
Wow.
£50,000 a day.
Wow.
He's earning my yearly salary and more than most people's yearly salary a day.
Wow.
Imagine being told, you just need to turn up to work on time and I'll pay you your year's worth of salary.
And the fact that he is willing to take that risk and he knows there won't be like any major implications, it just seems that he thinks United think of him
and this is
at high regard.
This is the problem, right? Because he's Mr. Man United. This is what happens when you have too much player power. I don't want to go on this rant, but when you have too much player power, like, look, Sancho is a great player, but I think he was in a toxic environment and there was no examples in front of him in Man United, right? Ten Hag, I think, has an impossible job there because he has so many egos there. And, like, if you think you're bigger than the manager, then you will act in a way like you're bigger than the manager, right? So what do you do as the manager? Do you fire Rashford, but he's Mr. Man United, right? And then you're still like splitting the environment is so toxic. I think, I don't know. You make a decision about Rashford because I don't know how to actually quantify it. I kind of want to sell him because you get more value.
Where would you go?
PSG is the first answer. If he's gonna keep behaving the way he's behaving, PSG is the kind of team for him.
And I don't think he would amount to anything again at England.
I don't think he could. So let's look in England, right? I don't think he should go below the top 6, right? So we're talking Man City, he can't go, right? Chelsea, I don't think so. I don't think they can afford him, actually.
No.
Arsenal, maybe.
Not the right player for us.
Not the right player for you guys, so you don't need him. Spurs, maybe, but would he demean himself going to Spurs? I think he thinks Spurs is below him. I think Spurs, like, he would do well in Spurs, because what Spurs need is a left wing. We'll come on to that, like, in the transfer window. But if he's willing to go to Spurs, I think, as a left-sided striker, left-wing option, because Son plays that position, right? You can interchange them, and you can get rid of Richarlison at that point. Anyways, I think sell him because this is the peak of his value.
Yeah.
And he has only demonstrated, like, I appreciate how well he played last season. I think he was one of the best players in the Premier League. But that's one season, and he's been in the Premier League for many seasons. So the burden
and United got top 4, didn't they?
Yeah. Like, the burden of evidence demonstrates that he is not a consistently great player. He has purple patches.
Yeah.
So far. Maybe he goes somewhere else. Like, the biggest fear with him and Martial, they're kind of the same problem. They're players who have huge potentials, and Man United don't want to sell them, because what if you sell Martial? He's only 28. What if he goes somewhere? Let's say he goes to PSG and replaces Mbappe, and then he starts scoring like 40 goals a season and wins the Champions League. Like, that's the biggest fear that Man United have. What if we sell him and he becomes amazing?
It's quite unlikely. Well, that's happened many times at Arsenal, so...
But ultimately, I think you sell him and get value from him.
Sure.
He needs to start anew. He needs to go somewhere where he gets.
But I think he still needs to stay in England.
I don't know what squad's going to take him. And then the final is Erik ten Hag. Does he stay or does he go? And who do you bring in?
United have not done similar things to what they've done with all the other managers, right? Getting rid of Mourinho just the way they did the game before the European
got them second in the league.
Europa League and second in the league. Like, why haven't they got rid of Ten Hag? Like, Mourinho's probably thinking, what the fuck's going on?
I honestly think you should give Ten Hag a chance. Like, he's had, this is his second season.
Why?
Okay, because if you look at his actual track record from where Man United were under Ragnick, right? They have since came third, won the Carling Cup, got to the final of the FA Cup. This season,
Final of the FA Cup.
the final of the FA Cup, and no, they're sixth.
Six.
Sixth, so a bit of a regression, and bottom of their group in the Champions League. So, I would say, with look at the squad
Give
we've
him
got
one
here.
more season at most.
What I'm saying is, look at what we're doing here. We're selling Martial, Antony, Sancho, Varane, Casemiro, Rashford,
But
right? Even if they're not doing all of this, they're definitely doing a lot of sales this season.
you've got to remember, United have actually, if we look at the transfer windows, right, in the last 4 years, United have spent more than Arsenal.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Because they've spent more, FFP-wise, they need to sell, right? They need to recruit money. And he's getting a 25% hit because on his wages because he didn't get Champions League, right? So that's one. Number two, if you're making such wholesale changes, you can't change this, change a manager, change the ownership. And then what if next season it's worse? What are you going to blame? Is it because you sold all your team? Is it because you changed your manager? Is it because you changed your ownership? You're changing too many things at the same time.
Well, maybe United have learned from the dismissal of Mourinho, because that was the biggest, worst dismissal I've
And
seen.
Graham Potter is an example. You could just look at Chelsea and say, do we want to be like that? No.
No.
Right. So I think he stays for next season, and then he's on a short leash.
Okay.
Cool. Right. That concludes our Manchester United video. Let us know down below what you think about our choices and who you would start, bench, and sell. Welcome back to Start, Bench, Sell, Liverpool edition. Right. So we can already click the manager. We know Arne Slot is how do you spell his name?
He might not even be in.
He should be.
Yeah, probably. I don't know how to spell it.
How do you spell?
We might be able to just search it on Google.
Slot.
Who is Arne Slot?
He's the Feyenoord manager, I think.
Who?
Feyenoord from
the league.
From the
Amsterdam League.
whatever.
Holland
We
League.
we know who the manager is, right? So Klopp is
Unknown
leaving.
apparently to Footbin.
Yeah. So let's start off at the back with the easy question, with the easy players. Alisson stays.
Yeah, stays, has to. He's been
Right,
a
we'll go
great
from the back
goalkeeper
again.
for a while.
Yeah. Alisson stays, right? Then we'll go into their defense. Arnold, Trent stays right back.
He has to. He's a loyal
Van
player as well.
Dijk. What do we think about Van Dijk?
Where else is he going to go? And I think he's been.
I think he's Mr. Liverpool. That's kind of the problem.
And also most of the stuff that Liverpool have done this season has been down to him. There was a time where Liverpool were playing their youngsters, and he was the leader of that team.
Do you think he starts, or do you think you bench him?
I think he starts.
You start him still? Okay, fine. Who's his partner? Let's do it easy. Robertson goes left back. You still use Robertson, right?
Yeah.
So who's his centre back?
Konate?
Is it Konate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Konate. He's still a good player.
Yeah, he's got team of the season, so people must think he's good.
But this season, yeah.
Right. So then the other centre backs and defenders that we need to make a decision. Simicas. He's been their standing left back.
I would say sell him.
Sell him.
He's just been nowhere this season.
Simicas. I don't think he's the good enough quality for Liverpool. Kwanzaa.
Not seen him play.
He's the one who's been standing in.
Oh, okay. And
he's young. So I think you keep Kwanzaa. We
I
won't
see.
put him in, but you keep him. Gomez. He's a good tall player. He can play right back, left back.
FIFA
centre
made
back.
him world class in every bloody game they came out when he was unstoppable.
Do you
There was
keep him
reason
as a
for that.
rotation
I
player?
would say keep him as a rotation player because even though Liverpool fans have given him stick, he's still a good player.
Fine. And then Matip. I think he's getting on and he gets injured too often. I think you get rid of him.
Yeah, but he was also once a good player.
I think all of these used to be they're Champions League winners. Of course, they're good players, right? So who are we missing? No one. Fine. Let's move on. This might be much faster.
Very interesting.
Right. Obviously, you're gonna say keep. But do you think bench him or start him?
I think start him because he is the highest scoring midfielder in Liverpool's team this season, right?
Tenuous. Their midfield has been trash.
Yeah. Not necessarily, not at the beginning, because
Not at the
remember,
beginning,
Liverpool were on top of the league longer than Arsenal.
Sure.
Let's not forget that, right? And they were doing very well from the start of the season to around December.
So you want to supersize centre, right, or left?
I think he plays right centre mid. I think that's where he usually plays, and I think it's his first season in Premier League, in the Premier League. Like, come on,
Fine.
I still don't. He joined when Liverpool weren't in the best form. Like
Look,
he can't carry. He can't carry the team.
I put him in. Okay.
Like if next season they rebuild, obviously they get
this guy is
someone
Hungarian pride, man.
so they bring in someone for Salah and Liverpool start playing better. You will see Szoboszlai come out of his shell a bit more.
Yeah.
And they need to pass it to him a bit more. I've watched Liverpool games. He obviously also makes mistakes, quite clear. But that's going to be normal if everyone else in the team's making mistakes.
Who's
right?
the other centre mids? McAllister?
I would say McAllister is essential to the team because his goal and assists are very important.
Then who's your third? Is it Endo? He's been doing doing
Endo's
work
been-
as a CDM.
The thing is,
cleaning up
Endo is a great player and has been a great player, right?
in the German league.
No, but I swear, am I mistaken Endo for the guy from Brighton?
Yes, you are.
Who's
You're
that guy?
thinking Mitoma,
Okay.
the other Japanese
All right.
player,
Oh,
who
I
sounds
am-
completely different and is in
my
a
bad.
completely
How-
different.
And he's only played how many
This
seasons?
season.
Only this season. I think he's
He
done
came
well. I
in
think he's
because
done
Chelsea stole Caicedo and then also stole Lavia, which were two of Liverpool's CDM targets. So they bought
were
them.
our targets as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Well, who else would there be really? Like, who
So
else
we've
is
got
there?
Gravenberch. What do we like? He was from Bayern. He was a decent player, but not great.
Well, Klopp played him a few times and he actually scored.
Yeah, but I feel like you get rid of Gravenberch, to be honest. I mean, like,
Okay.
he's only been there for one season as well, though. So do
Sure.
you sell that quickly or do you bench him?
I would say bench him.
Bench him? Okay. They're going to have a really big bench, though. This is the problem. Gravenberch
No,
in the
they
mid.
might have a really big selling.
Thiago?
Great player, Champions League winner.
Too many injuries. Too old.
Yeah, I would say. How old is he?
It's like 30-something.
I would still keep him as a sub if I'm honest, but hey, maybe not.
Like, let's see. Okay, if he's above 32, you sell him.
Okay.
How old is he? When's his age?
They don't care about the age apparently.
Age 33.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you get rid of him, man. He's
Yeah.
too old.
For a midfielder, that's a bit old.
Right, who else have we got in here? I mean,
Elliot?
they've got lots. Curtis Jones, you keep him, he's young.
Yeah. Elliot.
Elliot, you keep him,
Yeah,
he's young.
Who's Van der Sanden? I've never seen him play for Liverpool.
Yeah, ignore that one. That's one of their sort of academy players, probably. Who else have we actually seen this season that might be like interesting to talk about? Clark, I've seen maybe once or twice, but not. I don't really want to talk about it.
Just scroll up to the top a little bit. Just have a look at the highest rated midfielders in Liverpool's team. The fact that Szoboszlai is 90, that should tell you a lot.
Yeah. We got it.
just saying,
He's in.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Right, attackers. Cody Gakpo. I think is he good
He's
enough?
a good player. He's a good player.
Is he good enough to start or bench? Bench. I think bench him.
Bench, yeah, I'll say bench. Oh, the next guy.
Mate, oh my god. I've lost my mind watching this guy play. Nunes. What do we think about Nunes?
I mean, he brings still something to Liverpool, right? I think a lot of his contributions have been good.
But do they not need him on the
But
bench?
I think we need to put him on the bench because there's been many opportunities where he could have slotted it to Szoboszlai many times and Szoboszlai would have just slotted it into the goal.
He has the worst conversion rate in the top 5 leagues in Europe.
Wow, it might be top 10, you know?
Like, and I'm going to say this, let's not forget how much he cost. And also that he was meant to be Haaland's rival.
Yeah.
Do you remember how much he cost?
Remember, he started off better than Haaland.
Yeah, but do you remember how much he cost?
80 million?
85 million.
More than Haaland.
More than Haaland.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But he looked like a good player.
Right.
He looked like a good
Diaz,
player.
I think you start him.
Yeah, you have to.
Diaz left
I mean,
wing. So we've put Diaz in. Diogo Jota. Start him?
I would say put him on the bench.
Jota?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him miss quite a lot as well. Though Diaz has missed a lot as well.
Great player, though.
Great. Yeah, but they're all great players. So, finally, who do we have up here? Who else could it be? But Mr. Salah, we saw the touchline drama with Klopp. Do we think it's over for Salah?
No, because Klopp is leaving. So I think Salah will still stay unless he gets an insane bid from
I
Saudis.
think they should cash in on him
Yeah.
and try to find a better striker with the money they recruit from Salah. Like,
That might be a good
they
shout.
got they got humbled with injuries this season.
Yep.
So, I mean, they pretty much get a full squad. But I think if you sell Salah,
Yep.
you could put Jota there. You could put Diaz there.
Yep.
You could do anything with these players.
That's true.
You got Gakpo there as well.
Yep.
I think you do that and you get a new striker.
Okay. And who would you suggest as a striker?
Take Richarlison. Take Richarlison from Spurs.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I think they could try go for Isaac. They could get Jesus from you guys.
I'll be honest. I want Isak to go come Arsenal.
But if Isaac goes Arsenal, then I think you guys sell Jesus. And I think Jesus fits Liverpool.
Yeah, probably. Jesus is a great player, right? But Jesus has become more of a, in our team.
Left winger.
Yeah, and also still a great player. He scored a great... I mean, he seems to be assisting a lot. But literally...
But this is what I mean. Liverpool's team plays better with Jesus' style. A holding player who holds the ball up and assists.
He does a lot off the ball. And that's not what he was doing at City because people were providing him great opportunities.
Yeah. But look at the front line of Liverpool. Right? And your team, I think, especially if you go for an Isaac, which you need to push on for next season, then I think...
Where would Havertz play?
Like, Havertz plays behind in the sort of supporting role that he's got now.
Yeah, it's coming to an end.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's our start bench sell squad for Liverpool. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.